Welcome to Love by Design, the podcast for high-achieving women who are ready to stop performing for love and start building it from truth, from alignment. Because you don't attract what you want, you attract what you be. Let's begin. Welcome back to Love by Design. This is Joan. So, we are all obsessed with making better decisions, better choices in love, in work, and in life. We read tons of books about decision making. We build frameworks. We search for certainty before we take the next step. And still, we make choices we regret. We stay too long. We leave too soon. We choose the wrong person again and again and again. Here's what I've come to believe after years of studying relationships and observing human behavior. We are starting in the wrong place. Better decisions are not the starting point. Better discernment is. Most people imagine the process works this way. Decision, outcome. I choose, something happens. But the real sequence is actually longer than that. It is perception to discernment to decision and then outcome. Perception is what you notice. Discernment is how clearly you examine and interpret what you notice. And then comes decision, which is the response you choose, and the outcome is what follows. Each stage matters, and here's the critical insight. We do not make decisions from reality. We make decisions from our interpretation of reality. So two people can encounter the exact same situation and reach completely different conclusions because they noticed different things. They assigned different meanings. They filter the experience through different fears, different desires, different histories, and different hopes. If your perception is incomplete, then your discernment may be compromised. If your discernment is compromised, even a carefully reasoned decision may move you further from what is actually true. So every decision begins long before the moment you choose. It begins with what you actually notice, with what and how you interpret it, and whether you are willing to see reality clearly. So Joan, what is discernment? Well, discernment is not intuition alone. It's not analysis alone. It's not judgment alone. Discernment is the disciplined practice of perceiving reality as clearly as possible before deciding how to respond. So it brings together intuition, observation, evidence, and experience. And at its center is one deceptively simple question, which is, what is actually true here? Not what do I hope is true? Not what do I fear is true? Not what would be convenient if it were true? What is actually present? That question sounds simple, but it is not, because answering it honestly requires you to examine not just the situation in front of you, but the lens you're looking through. The fears shaping what you see, the hopes coloring what you're willing to acknowledge, the history making certain things visible and others invisible. Discernment is the work of cleaning the lens before you trust what you're seeing through it. So here is something worth sitting with. Some of the brightest, most capable people make deeply misaligned decisions when it comes to love. Not because they lack intelligence. Intelligence does not automatically produce discernment. Neither does education, neither does professional success or years of personal development work. We have all seen brilliant people remain in relationships that repeatedly diminish them. Experienced people choosing the wrong partners. Capable people ignoring warning signs that were visible from the beginning. The problem is not their ability to think. It is their ability to perceive clearly while emotionally invested. And that is a different skill entirely. When perception becomes distorted, then the quality of the decision declines with it, no matter how sophisticated the thinking that follows. Trying to make better decisions without improving discernment is like adjusting your steering wheel while looking through a fogged windshield. You can turn the wheel perfectly, sure. You can execute the technique flawlessly, sure. But if you cannot see the road clearly, none of it matters. The clarity has to come first. Before the decision, before the framework, before the strategy, discernment comes first. So this distinction really, really matters. Certainty says, I know exactly what will happen. Discernment says, based on what is presently knowable, this is what appears most true, and this is the wisest response available to me. Look, discernment does not remove risk. It does not predict every consequence. It does not make you immune to change, to disappointment, or circumstances beyond your control. It simply allows you to meet the decision with greater clarity and integrity. And that matters because many people delay necessary decisions while waiting for a level of certainty that life rarely ever provides. They stay in the wrong relationships waiting to be sure. They leave a necessary conversation waiting to know how it will land. They don't move forward because they can't guarantee the outcome. Discernment doesn't promise certainty. It provides a more trustworthy basis for action. And that is enough. So here's another misconception worth talking about. Good discernment doesn't guarantee a desirable outcome. You can perceive reality carefully, you can make a wise decision, and still experience an outcome that you didn't want. Because people change, circumstances shift, health declines, things emerge that no one could reasonably have predicted. Decisions influence outcomes. They do not control them. So discernment should not be judged only by what happens afterward. It should be judged by the quality of awareness available at the time of the decision. So did you examine reality honestly? Did you notice what contradicted your preferred story? Did you distinguish possibility from probability? Did you respond from clarity rather than panic, fantasy, or avoidance? A sound decision can still produce an unexpected result. That does not mean the discernment was wrong. So another thing I want to touch on is discernment is not cold. It's not cynical. It's not the refusal to hope. It is the refusal to abandon reality in order to preserve a preferred story. And that, my friend, is an act of self-respect. To discern is to say, I will not make myself smaller to avoid seeing what is true. I will not confuse my longing with evidence. I will not allow past investment to make my present choices for me. I will not demand certainty before I honor what I can already see. Discernment does not ask you to become detached from life. No, it asks you to participate in life without surrendering your capacity to perceive it clearly. So why does this matter? Well, relationships are where discernment becomes most difficult, yet most necessary. Attraction is powerful, chemistry feels convincing, potential is intoxicating, hope keeps us invested long after the evidence has changed. We see someone who could become more clearly than who they actually are. We confuse intensity with intimacy. We call emotional activation destiny. Discernment does not ask whether the connection feels meaningful. It asks what the meaning of the connection actually is. And that question, asked honestly, answered clearly, changes everything. So this is the first episode in a new series that I'm doing on discernment because I believe we spend far too much time teaching people how to make decisions and not nearly enough time helping them develop the discernment that makes wise decisions possible. The quality of your relationships, your choices, your life is all shaped by the decisions that you make. And the quality of your decisions will never exceed the quality of your discernment. And that's where we're starting from. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. And if it stirred something in you, trust that. Alignment isn't a concept, it is a calling. And if you're feeling the nudge to take this work deeper, then I want you to go ahead and book your Aligned Love Assessment, where we map your patterns, reveal what's keeping you stuck, and explore your journey to aligned love. You can book your session at joannwosu.com. Until next time, remember, you're not here to earn love, You are here to embody it. So keep dating by design, not by default. See you next week.